And we're live. Welcome back, Shifties. Welcome back to Shift the Journey. I'm your host. My name is Tito Amogus. What is Shift the Journey? Shift the Journey is it's a passion project of mine. I served 20 years in the U.S. Air Force, and when I got out, I changed cities. I changed states. I moved from the Mississippi Gulf Coast up to Nashville, Tennessee, to start my career in analytics. And I really didn't have much of a plan, didn't have much of a network. So you can say that I pretty much didn't have much of anything. So the military was like, hey, yeah, we teach you to be prepared. And boy, was I not prepared. So one of the things I like to do is like connect people, have people tell their stories about how they got into the civilian world from, the military, and, just share information. Information is free, especially coming out of my mouth. Information is free. And so if you have any questions or you just want to connect, connect with me, and feel free to. All right. Today we have a special guest. Our special guest is Tracy Curry, the pride of Tustin, California. Tustin, right?
I live in Menifee, but it's close.
Wow. Did you not grow up in Tustin?
I grew up in Fullerton, so close.
Oh, man, I'm so off.
Yeah, get it together.
That was off. Okay, Southern California in the house.
Me, so right? Solid
yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, I grew up in Riverside. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
But so funny thing is that Tracy and I were stationed at the same base twice. Not at the same base twice. Stationed at the same bases. I don't know, twice. So Robins Air Force Base.
Yeah.
For briefly, and we were just talking in the studio. We went TDY on the same TDY, and I don't remember anything about that TDY, but I was young. And if you ever been TDY, you're probably like, oh yeah, this is why you don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, and then at Keesler, so my last duty station, I was actually there for probably a year, maybe more. And somebody's like, oh, yeah, we got a new person coming in. And I saw your name and I was like, hey, I know her. And so, yeah, so that was fun. All right. Yeah. So you served for 24 plus years, right? Yeah. Wow. That's a long time. That's a long time. So people often talk about like why they chose to go past 20 years. And so everybody has a different story. What is your story? Why did you decide to go 24?
Two reasons. One is I still had more to give. I wasn't done. And two is probably an even bigger reason is that preparedness you mentioned. I did not do any of that. So retirement comes upon you fast, like so fast. Oh. So I was just busy with my life, and I was really busy at work, and I was just so into it that I didn't pay any focus on myself. So when it came time to either retire or keep going, I was like, well, I'm keeping going because I haven't planned for anything. So I actually re-enlisted 2 days before I hit 20 years. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
But I did get a nice bonus.
Yeah, okay. But it's funny.
I got the Zone E.
Oh, for me, it was I was like, 365 days out. I'm retiring. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I got a plan. And then I realized like pretty close to when it was time to go, I was like, I don't think I'm prepared for this.
Yeah.
And I was not. But let me share something real quick. I forgot about this. Let me share my screen. And I say every time, I feel like half my life now is saying, can you see my screen? And can you hear me now?
Which window to share?
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's a picture. I got a couple of pictures, like last pictures with you and me. And so this was July 24th, 2015. And that's me with the raccoon eyes, of course, is fishing, right? It's my cousin Vito putting me out to pasture. And you're probably looking at the table going, golly, man. How many of these things do I have to hand to him? When I went to retire, they're like, how many of these like certificates and all the
There's
things.
so
How
much
many
stuff.
do you want? And I said all of them. I want all of them. And they're like, okay.
Yep.
They said, because some people only ask for a few. I was like, no, I want all of them. So I got all of them. And you're standing there going, what is going on? And then I have another picture. This is my brother-in-law, Mike, getting into the national anthem, tearing it up. And you're back there, stoic as ever. All right. So how do we... Uh-oh, I'm frozen.
You're moving ever so
Hey,
slightly.
are you there?
I'm here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I was frozen. Am I still presenting?
Nope.
Okay, good. Anyway, yeah, that was crazy. But all right. Oh, you know what? I think I probably have too much going on my computer. My little computer can't keep up. Are you good? Am I still...
Yeah.
Is it me? Man. Okay, so anyway, pictures. That's it was like a really dark church, but we were there.
It was
We
a
were
dark
there.
church.
Yeah.
It was big though.
That's not my fault.
It's still the only
yeah.
retirement
All right,
ceremony I've
so
ever been to that was at a church.
yeah, that's what everybody
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And everybody also said they're like, I've never seen anybody sing at their retirement before. And
Well,
I
if you
was
got
like,
that voice, you have to.
oh, it's nice. Thank you. I mean, we can sing out here if you want to, but
Nope.
I think we'll probably just hold up. Especially with it like being glitchy. So all right, so let's take it back a little bit. So like when you were growing up, was joining the Air Force something that you were thinking about, like, oh, I want to do that? I graduated from high school or whatever.
I
What
actually went
led
to a
you to
junior
it?
college first after
Okay.
high school. I went to a 2-year school for about 3.5 years, and I
Oh,
didn't get a degree. And then I joined the Air Force mainly because I was bored, and I was an architecture major, and I
oh,
loved doing the changing of things, but the actual conceptual, like from scratch, I didn't enjoy. And so I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And so I joined the Air Force and didn't think about I could do remodeling until afterwards. Like you didn't have to build from scratch. But I joined the Air Force for 4 years. I figured, let me see what this is. And
mhm.
24 years later, I liked it. I found myself. I found who I was, and
Did
never looked back.
you join saying, "Oh, I want to be GAC"?
It was actually my number one job. I didn't really know what it
Really?
was, but I went in open electronics, and then I
Yeah.
picked, like, GAC was number one. I think ComNav was number two, so I definitely scored on that one.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything past that.
Hey, that's messed up. Hey, look what I missed while I was glitching over here. We're this is Lincoln Ward. Lincoln Ward. I haven't seen that guy in years. He said retirement definitely comes up quickly and there's a lot to take in.
For
So
sure.
how many times? Well, let's stay where we are. So you decided to go in, for 4 years. And
Yep.
then like at what point did you say, you know what, I'm gonna stay in? Because I
I
feel like in the first year and a half, I'm like, I want to go home. This sucks.
Well, you would think that I would think that because my first duty station was Grand Forks, and I got there in the middle of November, and it already sucked. But that still, out of all my duty stations, was the best one, 100%. Like primarily because of the people. We were so tight,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
we all the whole bunch of us came from all the warm places on Earth, and they sent us all to Grand Forks at the same time, and so we all just grew up together in the Air Force, freezing to death, and had a blast. And yeah,
That,
a lot of us
that
are
is
still in touch
hilarious.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my the coldest place I was ever stationed was actually Fairchild. And
Yeah, no.
going there. But I mean, come on, going there from so you think about it, I was just 1 year removed from living in the Philippines. So I lived in the Philippines from 93 to 94.
Yeah.
And then I came home for like a year trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Then I joined the Air Force, and then I went to Texas, California for tech school. And then they sent me to Fairchild, and I was like, this place is cold. What is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
It's
that's how I was.
crazy.
I grew up in Southern California, the warm part, and I went to Texas and then Mississippi for the whole summer, and then graduated tech school and went to North Dakota in November, and it was unpleasant.
That is
But you really get used to it.
hilarious.
You get really good at layering. So
So did you have to put in for another base, or did somebody come knocking like, hey,
I
who you
actually
got
put
first?
I was there almost 7 years, and I finally got out of there when I applied to be an FTD instructor, and that's how I got to Robbins. And then shortly
Oh,
after they bracked and everyone left anyway, so I could have got
yeah.
out there, but ended up being FTD, and that's where I was with you the first time
Yeah.
at Robbins, and I was there for 4.5 years until I was a must move, and that's how I got to Spain for 2 years. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. You went to Rhoda, right?
I did.
Yeah, and then you went back to Keysler. I mean, then you came back and went to Keysler.
Yep, yeah, I went to Rhoda. I did en route on 17s and Z5s for 2 years,
Uh,
and then came back to Keesler because somehow, supposedly, Keesler was the only tech sergeant GAC slot open in the entire Earth. So that's the only slot I could go to. So I wasn't happy about that, but I actually am
that's
glad
crazy.
because that kind of started
That's
getting me on the
crazy.
path to where I am now. Kind of.
Right. I was thinking about that. You know,
Yeah.
that job was the one that got me on the path to where I am now,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yep.
Because like analytics was not on my radar. You know,
Nope.
developer was not on my radar.
Yeah.
And so, you know, having a data analyst position, I was like, what is this on the outside?
Yeah.
So how long were you at Keysler?
I was there for 7 years, almost to the day.
7 years?
Yeah.
Holy cow. And
Yeah.
then
At
you
Second
went,
Air Force.
wow.
Yeah.
How many commanders did you have? I had 3 generals.
Uh, uh, who was after? So I had General Patrick, and then I had General Brown,
Right.
General Labruta, General Leahy, General Tulos. I think that was all of them. There was
Oh
a lot.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah. I don't even remember the general, the like when I got there, the
Hertog.
lady. Oh, is that her name?
Yeah.
The blonde lady? Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Patrick the Brown. And
Yeah.
then retired Brown. That's nuts. And then after that you went off to Fairchild.
Fairchild. Yep.
Yeah. Did you pick
Yeah.
that base?
It was the last one on my dream sheet. I was trying to get stationed close to home for
Yeah.
20 years, just so I can, and I really wanted to get home to like March or
Yeah.
Edwards, um, so I could be home and start getting my roots settled and start
Yeah.
networking and preparing for retirement. So I mean, Fairchild was a lot closer than I had ever been to home, but it still wasn't quite the
Yeah.
same. But it actually ended up being really good. I was scared to go back
Yeah.
to maintenance because I've been out of it for so long. And I was like, I could retire here at Keesler where they're my family, or I could go and I end up retiring with
Yeah.
strangers. And they took me right back in, and it was like no love, no time was lost or anything. It
Oh,
was
that's
it was
so
good.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's that's the thing about like people that don't move a lot don't understand
Yeah.
like the dynamics of like um picking up and then leaving and then going someplace where it's like a bunch of people you don't know,
Yeah.
and then it's
Scary.
like, yeah, you could get into a rhythm, like a routine with your job, but it's all the people stuff
Yep.
that's the most taxing, right? Because you got to figure people out, you got to figure out, how to communicate and
Yep.
who's cool and
Yeah.
who's not cool, all those
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
Definitely. So, at what point, like, the from your actual retirement date, from what point, how far out did you realize, hey, I want to pursue something in the tech world?
So it actually from working at Keesler, from standing up that op center and getting into all that the analysis stuff, I really, really enjoyed it. I love the problem solving of it and the
Hmm.
puzzle type nature of it. Um, but researching how to get into that, like you had to do a whole college degree, and you already knew that before, so you had more time to like get in that and do it. Well, I already had a degree, so I couldn't do another one. Um, and this researching it, once I was at Fairchild, I'm like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this. The educational gap from where I was and to get a job, it was huge. And I was like, I don't want to do all of that and go back to school and maybe get a job, making pennies or whatever. So I was looking for other things that were the same kind of situation. And I knew the last thing I wanted to do was airplanes. Ugh. I knew I could have did like HR. I could have done a lot of things because in the Air Force we do so many different things. Like we can do anything, but I wanted to find something that I would be passionate about and want to do. Like I don't have to work right now. I enjoy working right now. I like going to my job, which is right here at my desk, which is awesome. And so I get to build things and solve problems, and I really enjoy it. So I just was Googling. My second time I went to TAPS was in July of 22, because I got home from my last deployment in May, and I went to TAPS again, and I was just Googling and like researching skill bridges and what kind of careers and industries and everything. The whole time it wasn't even it was like, I remember the labor lady, they were supposed to be working resumes, and I just ignored all of that and just was trying to find what do I want to do. And I found ServiceNow, and I didn't know anything about it. And and so I just found it, and I got in touch with them and never turned back. So I dove all the way in, and I really enjoy it.
Wow. Look,
Yeah.
yeah, apparently. Look at this foreign concept. As soon as I don't have to work, I'm not going to. Yeah, I
You
mean,
say that, but it's easy.
right?
It's
I don't know.
like
Yes, no, I said that before, but like when I retired, we moved to Nashville, and we were out there, living with my sister and her family on their like 5 acres out in the country. And my mom's like, you shouldn't work for like um you shouldn't work for like a month or whatever. Hey, Wilson, man. Oh, wrong count. That was me, huh?
he's a trickster.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna tell anybody. But I was out, I was like not looking for a job, like not doing anything. And then after a month went by, I was like, man, I could not be fully retired. Because I mean, I've known people who retired, and then they just, sit on the porch and like,
so boring.
and I was like, no, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took me like 6 months to find my first job. And I was like, this is terrible. This is awful.
Yeah.
So I wasn't ready for it. But yeah, I think when you're like able-bodied or your mind is able and you're like wanting to work, make some money, do
the
it.
money is not bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm comfortable with disability and retirement. We're good. My wife works, so we have money.
Yeah.
So now we just have more, I guess.
Yeah.
And I have fun. I like working. And it's funny because through my skill bridge, obviously lots of military people, but the company I work for, two of the other guys on my team, my dev team, were avionics, Air Force, did the skill bridge, and we all work together. So we have even more in common, and we just
wow.
jive super well.
Bunch
it's
of
nice.
Pointy heads.
Bunch of pointy heads in there. Yeah.
So the like the skill bridge thing, it was so interesting because like when I was retiring, I didn't know anything about it. I think I heard something about it in TAP, and I went to TAP twice too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. And so I didn't even know that it was an option. I didn't even know that, you get that kind of help. But like you chased it down yourself, huh? You called them up and you're like, I want to do this. How did that go? Like, what was your thought process with that?
So they had they were already approved, so I didn't have to do like a weird shaped gears or something. I didn't have to do like a lot of legwork. As far as some people have to like get them approved to get the company they want to work for has to apply and get approved with the DoD to be a skill bridger. This program was already approved, so it was a lot easier. So all I had to do, I contacted Herb Thompson, who was the guy that contact me, and had a Zoom with him real quick, and he was like, yeah, and he sent me the invitation to apply or to be on board or whatever, and I ran with it. I went to work the next day and just started submitting the paperwork with the commander, and I had to interview, and I had to tell him, like my chief, what is this? Like, I don't really know, but I'm gonna do it. So,
So,
but
so
a lot of
how
people
was
go
it? So
through
it
it,
was
but
basically
good.
a lot of people. What?
A lot of people, there's tons of people going through the skill bridge because um, it's open to spouses, and not just active duty, like retiree people or active duty, whatever. It's open to all services, all veteran statuses. So people who have been out for a long time, their spouses could go to it. So it was pretty cool. Like they're really just pushing a lot of people through, but not that there aren't obviously enough job openings for all these people. And obviously, I mean, that many
Yeah.
people aren't going to be bought in and try as hard. So it's really up to the individual, to put the work in, to learn and do the networking that's necessary to actually get your foot in the door somewhere. Is probably the hardest part, is stepping out
Yeah.
of your box and reaching out and being active on LinkedIn and doing things that you're not normally comfortable with. But it's worth it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, what was the length of your internship?
it was 16 weeks and it was fully
Oh.
online, which that's the bad. It was good. It's bad now. This new rule that DoD's changing is they're not
Mhm.
going to be doing. They're not going to approve fully online skill bridges anymore, which kind of sucks because like the cool part about it was that we could. So many jobs nowadays are worldwide or nationwide and they're
Yeah.
remote and you don't have to be there. So I
Right.
think they're really like kind of boxing people in with that requirement. I don't know what I would do if I didn't find this one. And the fact that it was
Yeah.
100% remote, we were on Zoom all day, every day. Like we
Mhm.
had, it was 16 weeks long. We had instructor-led classes. We had on-demand classes, like specific ServiceNow courses. But we
Mhm.
also had a lot of mentorship things. We were each assigned an actual mentor for one-on-one, but we had a lot of speakers come in. We had a lot of networking lessons and like resume writing lessons and just all kinds of just growing and that how to transition from the military to a
Mhm.
civilian life because that's just scary. So they kind of
Yeah.
helped out in a lot of ways. It's pretty cool.
Mhm. So, what was the scariest part of going from military to civilian for you?
It was so easy in the Air Force because it was like the best job security ever. If you're just a good person and a good airman and you do your job, you have the most job security. But so like you
Mhm.
have to worry about anything. I haven't gone, dude, I haven't gone to the dentist since I retired because I nobody makes my appointment for me and calls me and says, Tracy, you're due for a dental.
I I am also in that boat.
Like
But
I have to
it's like
do these things
you're like
myself.
scarred for life, man. Those It was terrible. Like I
The
remember
first
going into work and they're like, "Hey, don't you have a dental appointment today?" Dang
Yeah,
it!
right. When
And
I
I was
when I
like,
first got glasses, I spent like $1,000 on glasses because they always gave us two pairs. So when Ashley sent me to the mall to the glasses store with my little prescription from the eye doctor, and I came home and I was like, "Oh, I ordered all these glasses." She's like, "What are you doing?" Well, I don't know. You sent me there.
yeah, I know, right? Like I don't know what the
She's like, "Why do
heck.
you need two of the same pair of
Yeah.
glasses?" Like, I don't. So I traded one in for sunglasses. Like there's so much that you think it's like simple things that the rest of the earth knows how to do insurance. I don't know because I didn't ever
No,
have to. So
no,
I'm
yeah,
learning those things.
yeah. I know. My sister was like, "Oh, you read your EOB," and I'm like, "EO who?"
What?
And I'm like, "What is that?" It's like the
Oh, the explanation of
explanation
benefits?
of benefits. Yeah, I'm
I never read that.
like, "What's that?" Yeah, I don't, man. I don't know. It's because like you have medical care. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Especially if you we're in for a long time, and
Yeah.
you're like institutionalized, right?
Nope.
And then you don't realize that you're institutionalized till you get out and you're faced with these challenges,
Yeah.
right? They're not challenges to like people who've never been in the military or have
Yeah.
been out for a long time. And I'm like, dude, this is hard. This is really
Yeah.
hard. I think one of the things that I had a hard time with was keeping track of what I wore to work
Oh.
the day before or the day before that. I didn't want
Yeah.
I didn't want to look like I was sleeping in my clothes.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, they're gonna think I'm a dirtbag because I don't know what I wore. I had a meltdown. I did. It was like middle of the
Did
week,
you?
and I couldn't remember what I wore, and all my clothes were clean. And I'm like, I don't know. So I was like, well, I'll just wear a combination of shirt and sweater and pants that I've not worn before,
There
and
you go.
then nobody's gonna know that I didn't know what I wore earlier in the week.
Fortunately, we're mostly camera off, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I do have
Oh,
those
that's
panic attacks
hilarious.
when I'm like
Yeah,
getting
those were
dressed
the
for
days.
acupuncture. Like my acupuncture is probably because I
Oh,
have
yeah.
one shirt because it's apparently my Saturday shirt. I don't know.
Oh, it's my Saturday shirt. I don't know if I have a Saturday shirt. I have a not on camera at work
Yeah.
shirt. I definitely have those. But I mean, sometimes I wear them on Saturdays. That's hilarious. Yeah, I actually when I had so like we moved down here and we were living in like an RV trailer while we were having a house built, and it was 2020. And so, fully remote, and that RV would get so hot
Yeah.
and in the afternoon in the summertime. So then I'm like wearing a tank top, and then somebody's like, "Hey, can you get on a call real quick?" And so yeah, I got my camera on, and I forgot. I was like talking, and I was like stretching, and I went like this, and I look and I see my hairy pits, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." They're like, I'm like, my bad. I didn't realize I'm just hot. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
Yeah.
can't say
So
I've
yeah,
never had that problem.
dress code and all that. I don't want to know if you
Yeah.
shave your pits or not. This
I
is not that kind of show. So
I'm stressed right now. Like our company has a holiday party every year, I guess, and we got this
Ooh,
invite. Save the date. It's in January, and it's in DC or somewhere, Virginia. I'm like, I don't have clothes for this. I don't have a style for this. Can I just wear? All and the girls in the Slack are talking about outfits all the time and like renting clothes. I don't know
oh
what you're
no.
talking about. Can I wear jeans? Can I wear a sweater? Like I'll get fancy and put a sweater on, but I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's the stress in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because it seems like it's like trivial stuff, right?
Yeah.
But this is like part of being in the military for a long time, and then also like working from home for a long time. That's
Yep.
also something. So when you were done with your internship, what were your steps to try to get your first job?
So before it ended, probably a month or two, probably a good month before it ended, I started applying, just jobs at first that I really was interested in, and then I just started applying for everything, just so I could get in. And I got an interview. I had a few interviews, and a lot of them the same problem. They good interview, they just want more experience. The same old story. Well, how do you get the
Mhm.
experience if I can't get a job anywhere? Um, but then I
Right.
finally got in as a contractor with tech systems, working for the North Carolina Department of IT,
Hmm.
and yeah, so that was cool. Got my first job in that as a developer, and now I work for Nuvatech, which was really comforting because I didn't have to seek out a new position. I was had a job for 2 years. I had a contract position for 2 years, so I was good. But this opportunity
Hmm.
came, and it's crazy how much more like relaxed or less stressful an interview is when you already have a job. So that was nice.
Yeah.
But now I
So
love this job.
so you didn't looking for it. Somebody came looking for you.
For this job, yeah. Kind of, yeah. So that was cool.
Was it like somebody that referred you, or was
So
it?
it was actually the person who hired me to work in North Carolina, moved to this company, and then he referred me for this, and now he works somewhere else, but he referred me here, and I'm super grateful. Like I gave them my resume, and they were like, "Yeah, let's interview," and went from there. But getting my first job
Yeah,
was
like
tough.
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Like just
definitely. Like that. It seems like that's the one that's like really the hardest to do is the first one.
yeah. And I think what helped me too, I ended up doing this like cohort training type thing with a Robert Fedoric. He's really big in ServiceNow. He's a cool guy. But he was doing a cohort thing. He's got like 15 years experience as an architect and whatnot. And it was just three of us at the time for his first one. And he taught me so much about, like, I learned a lot in the skill bridge about the platform and how to do things. But he taught like more why you would do these things or these things, and like the thought process behind a lot of the building, and
Yeah.
gaining more experience like that working with him really helped in my first in interviews. And that's actually when I got the job, from working with him, taking the knowledge from the skill bridge and knowledge from working with Rob, taking that into the interview, and that changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
it's out there. People struggle, like, oh, I can't find a job, I can't find a job. Nobody will interview me, nobody will hire me. But it honestly comes down to networking, and how much do you want it? How much are you willing to do for it? Like, not like sell your soul or anything, but you have to put in the work, you know? You have to, if it takes long hours of studying on your own,
Yeah. Yeah.
do it, you know? Like, you got to do what you got to do to get your foot in that door, and if you
Yeah.
want it, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. So what's the what are some of the differences that you see between being a ServiceNow developer and a ServiceNow consultant?
Honestly, I don't. It's the same exact thing. It's the same.
Really?
I'm a developer. Yeah, I think the difference is different companies call it different things. Like my
Oh
first
yeah.
job, it was a, I guess you would call it a customer of
Mhm.
ServiceNow. They just used it and built on it, and so I was a developer building on their platforms. I don't know why this keeps coming out, but then the company I work for now is a partner, so
You need bigger ears.
I think so, but I don't want bigger ears. So the company I'm with
You
now
got
is a
mine.
partner, and that's when they call them different things. So
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
consultant, which is a developer.
Yeah. So I mean, for analytics, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I've been a data analyst, uh, BI analyst, a and then I went into consulting and was a senior associate, then I was a senior consultant, and then
Yeah. And was
I'm
it
a
the
data
same like
analyst
across the board?
engineer, which is the same as all of the
Yeah.
above.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Some
it's all the
companies
same.
call
Yeah,
it.
it
Some
just
companies call it an
depends.
engineer. Like, and actually, we're in the engineering department. So yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same with a different name.
So, are you working your way up to management, to like C-suite, anything like
No,
that?
no. I mean, so I've, like, in my Air Force career, I never closed my own doors. But I really enjoy not having to worry about other people in that sense right now. You know what I mean? Like in the Air Force, you're a
Hmm.
supervisor for so
Yeah.
long, and then as a section chief, you're responsible for like 230 people and
Yeah.
all of their issues in the world,
Yes.
personal and professional. And
Yeah.
now I can just go to work and just, like, we're like teammates. We're really good, and of course we're there for each other in a human sense. But I don't I don't have to like do any of that. And I'm not opposed to that in the future, but for now I'm still learning myself. I'm still, like, every day I learn something new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the like whole section chief thing, right? Somebody walks in and you're like, "Hey, I just got an email. You missed your flu shot,"
Yeah.
or like, "You missed your dental appointment."
Yep. Or the fun ones. Those are easy. You get these kids come in like, oh, I don't have a driver's license. I had to go to court in another
Yeah.
state, and like what?
Yeah. No.
What?
But
Well,
there
you
was
drop everything and help them with their lives and get
I
them
wor-
a license.
yeah, I worked with a young airman who he came in, we were on mid shift. He came in and he was late, and he was like he's wearing his BDUs and he didn't have a t-shirt. I'm like, you are not wearing a t-shirt. What are you doing? And he's like, oh man. And yeah, he had this story. It was, I'll tell you off camera, but it's like his uniforms were damaged and he couldn't salvage them, or so like his wife threw them away or whatever.
Oh God.
And so he came in and I was like, that uniform is a little bit small for you and
Yeah.
you're not wearing a t-shirt. What's happening? And it was like his tech school uniform. So he had gained a little bit of weight from basic and tech
Screaming.
school, and he had gotten married, right? So he gained a little weight. Yeah, and no, he was still skinny. He was a skinny guy, but like
Yeah.
some of us who have struggled, like where the buttons like screaming, like holding on for dear life. No,
Yeah.
but he was not wearing a shirt, and that was so obvious. But I mean, you wake up at like 8 p.m., get ready,
Ew.
and you're like, oh, I don't have any clothes. Clothing sales is closed. So we had a long talk about uniforms and
Yeah.
taking care of things and stuff. It was the craziest thing. And that
I was
guy,
kind of
that
I
guy
was kind of
was
ruthless with that stuff.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
remember once when I had a student one time in my class, and he came in one day and he was wearing his uniform and his pants pocket, the back flat pocket was hanging. I was like, that's on service. We didn't wear that. So then the next day he comes in and it was still there. Whoosh, I ripped that thing right off. I'm like, you need new pants. Go.
Oh, rude. You're so
Hey,
rude.
they have at least 4 pairs of pants. They were given to them. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's
It's so
get
funny.
and we were given a sewing kit. Stitch that thing back on. Do something.
Oh my God.
Get some glue.
Yes, yes. I mean, I've had holes in my BDUs or like stains, and I was like, let me just grab a Sharpie, and then I'll
Yeah.
make that a black mark, and then it's like it's fine because it's
nobody
like
will know.
woodland camo, right? Brown, green, black. It all it all works. Oh my gosh, yeah. People who are like tuning in, they're like, what is happening? We're talking about old Air Force days. Just a bunch of old retirees.
Yeah.
When I was in,
Back in my day.
Oh man. Yeah, back in my day, exactly. Yeah, no, I didn't even want to talk about like the state of like active duty now. That's a lot. That's a rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah,
Like
it
all
is.
kinds of stuff that they have to deal with now. It's very interesting. But
It is.
hey, so let's stick to your career. And so if you had a like you had already said, word of advice to anybody who's watching this, work hard for it, go chase your dreams, right? And network.
Mm-hmm.
If you had another piece of advice to give to somebody
I
who's
wish
thinking about getting out or thinking about changing the careers, what would that be?
I wish so from an active duty or from a military perspective, I wish we were mandated to go to TAPS at the beginning of our career, right? You have to do it before the end. Well, you
Right,
can do
yeah.
it like minutes after the end, like up to the end. You just have to do that capstone and you're good to go. I wish that we had done it
Yeah.
probably at 2 years or 3 years at the latest. I would say 2 because so many people get out at 4. Go to TAPS at 2 years and learn all of these things so that you can plan and prepare throughout your career and have all these resources ahead of time. Because if I had known so much of that stuff before, I may not have known like what I wanted to be when I grew up, but
Right.
I at least, as far as all the other stuff, there's so many things you can put to good use at the beginning of your career than
Yeah.
at the end when it's almost too late. Essentially, it's like, well,
Yeah.
we're just kind of checking a box for Congress, but it still is what it is, what you make of it. Even going to taps, like a lot of people don't
Yeah.
even know you can go more than once. So, or whenever you want.
Yeah. No, yeah, I went yeah, I thought it was just something for retirees or people who are like
Yeah,
thinking about getting out. And so yeah, I went in 2014 and then I went again in 2015.
yeah,
And I learned some stuff in the first time that I didn't hear about the second time, and learned some stuff the
yep,
second time that I didn't hear
yeah,
about the first time. I think I probably should have gone like 5 times.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
it's
I
pretty
definitely think, and
crazy.
a lot, especially the younger ones, they're getting out, and all they think about is getting out and not having to deal with the Air Force crap anymore. They're not thinking big picture, because they don't know
Mhm.
how, because they don't know what the big picture is. They don't know any possibility of anything. They
Yeah.
just know, I don't want to do what you told me to do. Okay, that's fine, but prepare
Right.
yourself. And there's so much,
Yeah.
like, you don't know what you don't know, and they know nothing. So
Yeah.
they should, yeah, they need to go as early and as often as they can.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because yeah, one of my early episodes, I had a guy on here who I was a I was at Fairchild and I was like brand new, right? Young airman. And he was like a senior airman or maybe he was a staff sergeant and he was getting out. And I thought, a lot of us were like, man, this dude's a legend, man. He's getting out. He didn't have a plan. He plays guitar and he was gonna go to LA and try to, make it in music business. But like, he had some opportunities and he took them and he ended up, working out really well for him. He still lives in Spokane
Nice.
area. And it was like crazy because that was more often than not, that was the way things went. A lot of these guys that I knew when I was young, a young airman, who are getting out. It's like, hey, what are you doing? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna figure things out. You know,
yeah. I want to
and
go move
so
back home with my parents. That's cool. But what are you
yeah,
gonna do while you're there?
right, yeah, right,
So yeah.
yeah. And some people, made it into like had some other opportunities and then made it into a good, follow up career. And then
Hmm.
others like struggled along the way.
Yeah.
But definitely being prepared is that's definitely a good piece of advice.
And I would say
So
even if they feel prepared, I'd probably be more nervous if they're like, yeah, I'm prepared. Well, what do you like? Because like how like there's so much. Even I was an adult. I was an established, adult. I had a retirement. I had disability. I had a job. But even when it came time to moving, like we had to buy a house and find like you're always doing something big. We're always
yeah,
something that you have to prepare for. So you're never just like, I'm prepared for life. No, you're not. It's
yeah,
always moving, it's always changing, it's always going.
yeah. That's part of being a grown up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, man, if I had known that this is what adulthood was like when I was a kid, I wouldn't have tried so hard to grow up so fast.
I know my my son, he won't spend any of his money. He's like, I need to save up for when I have kids. No, dude, you don't. You're 7. Like, enjoy it. Go buy something.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, that's good behavior,
It
Tracy.
is
You
good
should
behavior. He's
like
cute.
foster that. That's hilarious.
No, he's
Oh
not
my
spending his
goodness.
own money. He's just happy to spend my money.
Yeah. Well, okay, there's that too.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
he's a good kid.
Well, it's been super fun having you on here, talking about your career and just talking about like a lot of funny memories of, being in the military.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot.
um some of the things that I forget about, and then somebody mentions something and I go, "Oh gosh, I have a story for that." And then I say, "Oh wait, I don't think I want to tell that story in front of everybody, all of humanity to be
Right.
on the internet forever." I mean, it's just one of those things. We'll have a conversation afterward, but I mean, it's not
There's such a
bad. It's just
no, but there's such a unique dynamic everywhere that we work. Like Keesler, working with all those civilians, and they're stories in themselves. It's just a different life, and
oh my
it
goodness,
changes you.
yes, that was yes. I know, and I know so many people who went into civil service, when they got out.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who's trying to, you know, she's passed me some job descriptions. Hey, you know, check
Yeah.
this one out. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I
Yeah.
worked with Silver Service before.
Yeah.
Some really nice people. And there were some people who it's like get a move on, get some giddy up in your step. Nope. I'm gonna punch in, do
Yeah.
my job, punch out, and I'm out of here,
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so in some ways that can be kind of frustrating. And so I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. So maybe down the road, who knows? Before I retire myself.
Maybe a fallback.
Yeah. So, all right. So, like I said, it was great having you on. So you can tell your story,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
your journey, and then all your hilarious Air Force stories, and bringing up all these memories out of my own brain. That's pretty funny. And definitely, your advice to people that is super helpful. So, would you be open to if somebody reached out and said, "Hey, I watched this. Can I
Yeah,
connect with
absolutely.
you?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had some people connect with me, and I'm like, I don't know who these people are, and they didn't send like a note in the connection request, and it's
That
like,
would help.
you know, um, they're somebody today, they're Air Force, and I was like, of course, why not?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
connect to me. But I would say if you actually have a question or want to talk to me, actually do that because I get connection requests like 5 a day, and I'm like, sure, we do the same kind of job. You're in another Earth, but that's cool. Like, sure, I don't
yeah,
know who any of these people are. So if they want to actually, I'm open to talk to people, but I'm not gonna reach out because I suck at that. So if they
yeah,
want to talk to me, I'm open book. Talk to me, but you got to initiate.
yeah, definitely initiate.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here, but don't hang up because I want to see you in the studio. And we're
Okay.
gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna tell you that story, but
Okay.
you might go, "Oh, I remember that guy." But
Probably.
next week, everybody, next week we have on the show Chris Williams. Chris Williams is an Alteryx ace, and he's been in consulting for years, and he's doing all kinds of good stuff in the space. So join us next week. Is that like October 6th? Oh my gosh, it's October
That's next
already.
Monday.
October
No,
6th.
no,
Yeah.
it's the 7th. The 6th is a Sunday.
What day is
I,
it today? It's the 30th.
today, I only know the 6th is a Sunday because that's my birthday. So I'm obligated.
Wait. Oh, you're right. October 7th. My bad. Oh, that's my cousin's birthday, October 7th. So, hey, Wilson, active in the chat, man. I appreciate it. It's definitely a good LinkedIn tip. Add a note to your connection request.
For
Absolutely.
sure. Yep.
And have a profile picture. And when people don't have a
Yeah.
profile picture, it makes me
Super
really
sus.
reluctant to, I don't want to be talking to bots.
Yeah.
I had somebody comment on one of my posts and said, "I love you. I appreciate you." I'm like, dude, I don't even know who you are.
Thank you, Mr.
So I
Man.
blocked him.
Yeah,
It was
and
a
actually
bot.
do something on their profile. Like put some
Yeah.
information in your profile. Don't just open LinkedIn and start networking. That no one wants to network with a ghost. Like
Right.
seriously, put your profile picture in there. Put some information in there. It doesn't have to be. Use ChatGPT. So easy. It'll write your thing for you. But put something in there.
Right. All good tips. But anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Yeah, same bad time, same bad channel on October 7th at
Yes.
6 p.m. Central. All right. And Wilson, man, boy, he's on it. I do also look at people's activity. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so are you saying you go and you look and see what they've been posting and all that, see if they're actually people? Because I do that too. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Do you do it
I
in
want to help
stalker mode,
people.
in like
I don't have
stealth
time
mode,
to
or
be. I
if
don't
I'm gonna
have
go
time to
really
be like,
crazy, I'll put it in like stealth mode.
answering bots. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this episode already. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys next